When a baby girl is born, she has all the eggs her body will ever use, and many more, perhaps as many as 450,000. They are stored in the ovary, each inside its own sac called a follicle. As she matures into puberty, her body begins producing various hormones that cause the eggs to mature. This is the beginning of her first cycle. It's a cycle that will repeat throughout her life until the end of menopause. The cycle starts with the hypothalamus, the part of the brain responsible for regulating the body's thirst, hunger, sleep patterns, libido, and endocrine functions. In response to positive and negative feedback mechanisms, the hypothalamus secretes gonadotropin-releasing hormone, which travels via the hypophyseal portal bloodstream to the anterior pituitary. In the pituitary, gonadotropin-releasing hormone activates its own receptor, gonadotropin-releasing hormone receptor. As a peptide, water-soluble molecule, it's a transmembrane G protein-coupled receptor that activates synthesis and secretion of gonadotropins LH and FSH. These processes are controlled by the size and frequency of gonadotropin-releasing hormone neural pulses as well as feedback from estrogens. Low-frequency gonadotropin-releasing pulses lead to follicle-stimulating hormone release, whereas high-frequency gonadotropin-releasing hormone pulses stimulate luteinizing hormone release. The anterior pituitary secretes FSH and little LH into the bloodstream, which cause the follicles to mature. As they mature, the follicles secrete increasing amounts of estradiol and estrogen. Inhibin, a protein that downregulates FSH synthesis and secretion in the pituitary, is produced by the ovary and begins to inhibit FSH. During the follicular stage, estradiol suppresses production of luteinizing hormone from the anterior pituitary. When the egg has nearly matured, levels of estradiol reach a threshold above which this effect is reversed, and estrogen actually stimulates the production of a large amount of luteinizing hormone. This process, known as LH surge, starts around day 12 of the average cycle and lasts around 48 hours. The release of luteinizing hormone matures the egg and weakens the wall of the follicle in the ovary, causing the fully developed follicle to release its secondary oocyte. The secondary oocyte promptly matures into an otid and then becomes a mature ovum. After being released from the ovary, the egg is swept into the fallopian tube by the fibra and will disintegrate or dissolve unless fertilized by a spermatozoa. After ovulation, the pituitary hormones FSH and LH cause the remaining parts of the dominant follicle to transform into the corpus luteum. This solid body produces progesterone and inhibin and suppresses production of the FSH and LH that the corpus luteum needs to maintain itself. Consequently, the levels of FSH and LH fall quickly over time, and the corpus luteum subsequently atrophies. Falling levels of progesterone trigger menstruation and the beginning of the next cycle.